I want you, most of you, to hearken back to the time when you were young. Imagine you were waking up and starting your day as we are here in New York City on this Saturday morn. And imagine this was 50 years ago, 1974. I would have been, what, like a sophomore or, yeah, in high school. Okay. And I would get up, and what would I do? Well, maybe I could turn on some TV. Is there any news on? No. Was there cable news? No. I could read the paper, go through that. Okay, good. Maybe read a news week that came in the week, but until the paper comes in the afternoon or in the evening or in the next morning or until the 6 o'clock news. And maybe if you catch the CBS evening news, you will not know anything except what you read in the newspaper, and most probably until the next day, because it's the weekend. If you wanted to know what people are thinking, you would find out from people who are your friends, people in your family, people around you. That's where you would figure this out. That's where you would know these people. Do you hear what I'm saying? That's where you would know these people. I think that's one of the most interesting things available. It's where you would know these people. And what's also fascinating, what I find interesting as well, is that, hang on, you would survive this somehow. You would just you just would not know anything. You wouldn't know anything. If there was a trend, if there was a habit, you might see it at the mall. Maybe a friend of yours said something. Maybe, but other than that, you wouldn't know anything. You wouldn't know anything except the people in your immediate group. And if there was a trend, if all of a sudden, if people were saying literally every other word, if everybody was getting hideous tattoos, if everybody was walking around wearing yoga pants and slides, you would notice it in your own town, but you wouldn't know it was a world. It's what everybody else did. And it's one of the things which is important, because when sound movies came along, for the first time, we heard other accents. Many people, for the first time, when they heard the Bowery Boys, or they never heard a New York accent, or that accent, which by the way it's almost non-existent. So now you are immersed in information. You were hit with so much information. 50 years ago, it just, I mean, but now you're just being bombarded with it, and you're trying to sift through it. And what are people telling you? What do you know? You don't know what. And I heard something today, and I was listening to something. I'm not going to mention names, but it was a very interesting kind of a duo. And one of the hosts was saying things that he just was pulling out of his arse, because he had to somehow say something to keep people's attention, because everybody now is an expert on Kamala Harris or Shamala, because she's a sham. She doesn't exist. She's a phony, and you know it, and I know it. And because of that, it's just incredible. And you sift through all of this information. You sift through it. My God. And what I'm trying to do is tell you, let's try to do this. Let's put all of this stuff aside and look at things for really the way they are. And people will say, no. I want to go to this guy because he will talk about how somehow this is I'll give you an example. I heard one, Kamala Harris, that her stupidity is an act. She's not stupid at all. This is an act. She goes out there deliberately acting like this to fool you. Now, this is somebody who's just figured, I'm going to throw something against the wall and try something because I got to come up with something. And this is the best I can do. He honestly believes that Shamala, the sham, is an act. Do you believe that these things she has been saying forever, this kind of a Deepak Chopra meets Sun Ra meets Professor Irwin Corey meet whatever this is, do you moondog and does anybody think this is an act? Does anybody think she's making this up? That she really doesn't believe that. She's just saying that. Are you kidding me? No. Absolutely not. Don't sell her short. Correction. Don't sell the Democratic Party short. Don't sell the shadow government short. But she's a buffoon. She is a blithering idiot who spews crotchets and lunacy all day long. And when I heard this, I'm thinking, who in their right mind would think that she's just making this up? And somebody says, listen, look stupid, okay? All right. Say something stupid whenever you look befuddled. Say the same thing. Become the butt of jokes. We've written some things for you. Looking unburdened by the past. You know, say this. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm thinking to myself, you should be pulled off the air. How dare you say that? Because you don't believe that. And if you do say that, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. And the reason why is it's not really his fault because people have to say something new. I've got so much competition now. I've got all these other people. I mean, you know, poor Caitlin Collins. She has no one with those eyebrows and that funja look. You know, she looks like she's in mid-Valsalva maneuver though. You know what I'm saying? That's what her thing is. So let me get down to brass tacks. Kamala Harris is an idiot. Be not mistaken. When you are saying, come here, what are you doing? Yeah, you can't say you're unchained by what are you doing? I'm an idiot. There's just, it's ridiculous. She's trying to tone down the laughing. When people say, well, you know, other people have been not that great. Excuse me. We've not had an idiot like this ever. The politicians keep getting worse and worse and worse. I thought nobody could be worse than de Blasio until in New York, until he was Mayor de Blasio, until Eric Adams came in, who's an idiot, who, by the way, compared to Kamala Harris, is Edward Whitten. I mean, this it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. But Eric Adams is not stupid. He's inarticulate. He's not exactly a thinker, but he's not an idiot. Kamala Harris is an idiot. No, be not mistaken. She doesn't understand things. I can see it. I know stupid. I know it. I can see it when somebody has no business where this is just over your head. You're sitting there and remember the case years ago, there was a guy from the BBC. I might find it later for you. It was the BBC. He was a limo driver. And he went into the studios of the BBC to pick somebody up. And he was standing along the periphery and somebody says, can you come here? And he said, so he walks in and he started miking him up. He says, well, I'm sorry. He goes, all right, Lord Merriweather it's 5, 4. He goes, no, wait. He's a limo driver. He's an African gentleman. No, I'm a limo. No. He goes, we're talking today to Sir Percival Merriweather regarding the abecedarian aspects of the fundamentals of nowadays internet marketing. Sir George, welcome. Well, thank you. And he was like looking at him like, I'm not the guy. So they said, Would you feel that perhaps following a Keynesian model, that perhaps internet, maybe a cryptocurrency, or dare I say the Keynesian bank hall, that it today would in any way be somewhat subliminal and, as you mentioned before, sort of a paradoxical crotchet regarding this? And he said, "Well, I think that the future of the internet is very good." That's Kamala. Now, this guy didn't know what he was talking about because he was a limo driver, and they're talking about marketing and gig economy. He didn't know what he was talking about. I'm just giving you an example. Kamala Harris is an idiot. An idiot. She can say anything she wants. She can craft anyway. She can sit and memorize 4 or 5. She's not doing anything all day. She's an idiot. She doesn't have it. So if you think this is an act, you're out of your mind. Now, let's move along. I told you before, and you're going to understand this. Most people that you will meet have no interest in this whatsoever. No interest, no clue. They just want to talk about it from a kind of a superficial point of view. They just want to kind of make fun of everybody. And you're going to meet that as well. They have no idea. Nothing. They just, I hate her, stupid. And the Hillary Clinton, and she's a terror, and they kill all these people. And they repeat the same stuff. And you'll meet them, and they have the right to, if that's the level of their opinion. They're missing one of the greatest stories ever because this story is so terrific. Somebody sent me an email. I hope you're getting signed up for my newsletter. I got another one coming out, and somebody said, "Can you talk about something other than Trump and Harris?" Actually said that. I didn't even answer that. Do you understand how stupid that is? That's the most stupid thing in the world I've ever heard in my life. Can you believe that? By the way, here's the link. This is the oops, that's not it. What am I trying to do? Pardon me, dear friend. Oh, newsletter. Here we go. All righty. Let me try this one. It's very good. It's a lot of pithy observations. That's it. Critical thinking. Yep. Newsletter. That's it. That's the one. And look who it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad to see. Just 1 second. Make sure this one goes up. Internet's been very slow today. Lori Lewis, bless your heart, Lori. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, hon. Sabertron Toy says, all of my news comes from Mr. L, good or bad thing. Well, you know what? I appreciate it. It's not really news, but it's analysis. How do you analyze this? Maybe it's not really, I don't really give you the news because I don't know what the news is, but I'll tell you what's going on. And I'll tell you the way to look at it. But I'm not here just to just make fun of people unless you can make fun of somebody if it goes to a bigger thing. For example, I think it's you must understand something, and I'm going to say it again. Kamala Harris is a blithering idiot. And that's not just meant as a pejorative. It's something you really have to understand, which is an actual viable, critical aspect of everything that we're talking about today. Now, here's another thing, too. She has just agreed to debate. This is going to be the great, I think September I forget the date, on Fox News. It's going to be worth everything. And he is going to handle her like that Algerian dude or whatever beat up that Italian lady in the boxing ring. I mean, he's going to just let her have it. She will walk out of that thing on a stretcher. And you've got to go in and you've got to destroy her. And I don't mean being mean, but I mean show her up and tell people, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, do you? Do you think you can tell Bibi, and I'm telling you right now, do you think you can tell Bibi Netanyahu this? Are you with Israel or are you not? And I'm not advocating a particular way of thinking, but she's going to try to play it. She's going to say, it's time that we have a conversation. Don't say conversation. What do you think we're having now? You keep saying conversation. You expect to sit in front of leaders of the world? When you pick up the phone, you tell, hey, we're going to have a prisoner exchange. Let's do this. Now, damn it, you're going to have a conversation. You want to have a tete-a-tete. You want to sit around and discuss things. Well, I want to have a conversation. What are you talking about? This is sheer and utter unabashed lunacy. He's got to destroy her. And I don't care. We never talk about, and I don't talk about Israel with people in this country because nobody understands it. I know people, I swear to God, I have friends, the people that I know, just so happens, who are anybody that I know, anybody here who is 100% staunchly pro-Israel to the exclusion of Israelis are either Jewish or Fox News conservatives. Now that doesn't mean everybody who's Jewish is pro this particular. I don't want to use the word genocide, but that's what the ICC and ICJ is. I don't even talk about it. I don't even waste my time. They have no clues what they're talking. They have no idea what's going on. So that's the first thing. You've got to do it. And you've got to throw her off. Be a bully, whatever. I want her to come out a blithering, blathering, simpering idiot. And I want them to say he was rude, he was this. Yeah. I did to her what that Algerian boxer dude, I think it was Algerian, whatever. Anyway, did to that Italian lady. He's got to do it. He's got to be vicious. We are big talkers. We keep all of us, we'll come up with a meme, and we got this, and here she is this, and there she's not. And then we just talk and talk and talk. Meanwhile, she says, they haven't laid a hand on me yet. They haven't laid a hand on me. She's out hiding. She's not doing anything. Nobody's laid a hand on her. And what they do is, you're going to say, well, where do I get this news? You want, not you, excuse me, I shouldn't say you. They want the easiest, they want the news, like for example, they've got 5 minutes and they want to open up a package of something to eat. They want something in a process, in a thing to eat, something low-hanging fruit, something that's got a nice little picture on it. Open it up, pop it in, that's it. Not a lot of digestion, no knife and fork, just pop it in, easy to understand, easy to grasp, easy, no history, no nothing. No background, no perspective, no weighing of the, no. That's what America wants. Just who's stupid and who's not. The thing with Trump is they've used everything available. There's nothing left. He's a felon. Oh, yeah. He's a sexual thing. Well, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. And his marriage, we talked about that too. What are you going to do with Trump? What are you going to do? It's like, that again? You're repeating yourself. It's the same old trope. It's the same old thing. Nobody cares about convicted of a crime that nobody can understand. Nobody. This is the thing which is the most important. But I want you to think about something which is very, very important. And I know you're going to love this because you are absolutely the best when it comes to this stuff. And I mean this. There is something that is, there's something that is important. Look at all of the stuff that we are not talking about. Look at the stuff that we're not talking about. Look at this stuff that nobody is discussing or thinking about or missing. Nobody's talking about Hunter. Hunter Biden is going to go away. Hunter Biden, you are never going to see him again. He's just going to go away. And there's nothing I can tell you. He's just going away. Period. That's it. And it will be like, nobody will say anything. Nobody will talk about it. Nobody will think about it. Nothing. Everything. That fellow who was in the, you know what I'm talking about. That fellow who was in the, oh, did you see this? Angela Carini is now apologizing to Iman Keefe or whatever. Forgot. What is going on here? This is like clown world. Angela Carini has issued an apology to Imani Khalif after the controversial end. The 25-year-old abandoned her fight just 46 seconds, having taken a heavy punch to the face from the Algerian. Carini was heard telling her coach, "It's not fair. It hurts like hell." Sorry. she's a boxer. The Italian was left distraught in the ring. Controversy was surrounded his participation. Khalif, who participated 3 years ago, has been cleared to participate in her second, blah, blah, blah. All this controversy makes me sad. I'm sorry for my opponent. If the IOC said she can fight, I respect the decision. Actually, I want to apologize to her and everyone else. I was angry because my Olympics had gone up in smoke. I don't have anything against Khalif. Oh, stop it. Would you stop it? You just lost me, honey. After all that stuff. You're apologizing? You're apologizing? What the hell's the matter with you? You're apologizing? I don't understand any of this. This is ridiculous. Unbelievable. Then there's the other fellow. I think there's a Chinese, is he Asian? Or there's another one. Oh, Lin Yu Ting, a biological male. He won again. And you're can you believe this world we live in? Can you believe this? Lori Cook, by the way, who has been on fire, says it's funny, goofy was chosen because she's easy. It's funny, goofy because she's easy. Well, that's interesting. Aussie here, DJT must emulate the savagery of the Northmen, berserkers, or on shrooms when going into battle. Yes, the berserkers, you're right, use this concoction, you are correct, where they would lose their mind in this kind of hallucinogenic wild spirit. Now, let me go back to a couple of things too, and thank you for that. Let me talk to you about some other things. Let's look at some great polls. Let me give you some polls. Polls. How do polls work? Remember, I want to have my class. You want to do polls? Why do people think polls matter? Why do people think, well, the polls are showing. Right now, there's a Daily Kos. The Daily Kos. I didn't even know that was still around. RCP Average, Rasmussen, Reuters, Harvard Harris, Morning Consult, Wall Street Journal, Forbes, Harris, X, New York Times, CNN, and NPR. All of them, with the exception of Daily Kos, Reuters, show Trump ahead. The Real Clear Politics show Trump's ahead, all this stuff, but it's too early. There's 50. Look at the poll data. Look how many of them are. They're all Trump. I'm going to give you this list. Let me just give you this link. Just look at this, just to get an idea, just to get a feel for what we're talking about here. Here's the link. Okay. What do you think about that? Go through this and try to fish your way through this. Now, I don't care about the polls right now because these polls don't matter. It's not, I don't care if you say Trump's up or down. It's like, okay, that's nice. That's nice. But the thing that's important is simply this. We have to look at this. Can they steal the elections in critical states? Steal them legally. Can they? Now, before you answer yes, there's one thing that I want my class to learn from old Uncle Lenny here. Don't answer questions so fast. Wait 5 seconds before uttering a word. Think about the question. This goes in life. It scares people. This idea of talking fast like Shapiro and that weirdo Destiny and all this is ridiculous. They're not thinking. They're just, and they're using it as a form of some type of a buttress or some type of a cudgel, some type of a suggestion that they're really smart, because only smart people talk that fast. No. Believe me when I tell you this. If you want to scare people in life, if you want to really be impressive, you think very carefully about what you're saying. Very carefully. Do not jump. Do not say. Ask yourself questions. And don't say things that you want to be true. Answer them to answer the question. Now, let me give you something which is important, which is more. Going back to what I said, can you steal it? Look at the issues and look at the states and look at the areas that allow votes to be cast and balloted and counted and all of that. after polls close. How many of these? Lara Trump and other people should be out every single day on some platform, but it's not sexy news where she can, do the thing. And because let's face it, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. So many people on TV care about one thing and one thing only: looking hot. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm sorry. If you want to be honest about Kamala Harris, let's be honest about a lot of people on cable news. They want, more important, to be hot. There was a picture that Judge Janine wanted you to see. It's called Backstage at the RNC, and she was getting hair and makeup. It's this lush life. It's these people that, honest to God, I'm sorry to say this, it might be a part of our culture. It might be what women are always told. You've got to look a particular way. You've got to act a particular way. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But they put so much time and effort in how they look. It's the most important thing to them all. How do I look? Do I look okay? Is this all right? How do I look? I've never seen. How about what do you say? So Lara Trump from the GOP or the RNC, whatever you want to call it, should say, here's what we need to look at these 4 or 5 states. These states, here are the rules regarding when ballots are cast, whether they're counted, blah, 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 blah. That's what you want to know. I want people to be conversant, and I want them to call out areas that they specifically are looking for in terms of being problematic. We're going to look at in Pennsylvania and these particular areas. Look at these, as I told you. Look at these. Here we go. Look at, there's so many great polls, but look at the swing states. Look at all this stuff. Look at Pennsylvania. Look at Georgia. Look at Virginia. This is what they need to do. So rather than we sitting back and saying, wow, they're going to steal it, I'm going to say, no. Explain to me the process. What are you looking at? What measures have taken place or have been used and corrected since last time? What have we done? What have we done to fix these? Okay, that's that. I know this is boring talk, but this is so much more important than this one's smart, this one's stupid, this one's whatever. Our good friend, oh, come on. Eric Thaddeus Walters, we love you. This is one of our best. Eric has been with us since the beginning. I'm not even gonna countenance this discussion whatsoever. You are my man. I want to know, this is our man in the Vatican. What's going on with Bergoglio? What's going on with whatever happened to Vigano? I want to know what is happening regarding this, because, and is Frank on our side or not? We don't know. Now, let's talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a fan of behavior and psychology and trends and patterns. This is what I want to hear. Let me give you an example. There is something I call the Trader Joe's phenomenon. With all due respect, I love Trader Joe's. It does nothing for me. I'm a whole food guy, and that's it. Trader Joe's, I went in there and say, I see nothing there I'm crazy about, but I wish them the best. But there is a Trader Joe's that opened up. A friend of mine lives in California, and you can't believe they're lining up. I'm thinking, for what? And the reason why is because they're told it's popular. Lori says, I think we should go after the donations that are made without people knowing. Can they get a refund? This is, we love Eric. This is something which has to be made. I think Mr. O'Keefe, before they bounced him from Veritas, was making that exact point. Nathan Shill was saying, I am sorry, but I think they will steal it. They are ruthless. Okay. But you say, how are they going to steal it? And the thing is, you can't say, you can, not, I think they're going to steal it, but let me tell you the realities. If they do steal it, if they try to steal it, nothing will happen. Let me go on Fox News. Forget, just as a hypothetical, and say, let me ask you a question. Do me a favor, cut all this crap off. Janine, be quiet. Everybody be quiet, okay? Just be quiet for a minute. Let me ask you geniuses a question. Let's assume arguendo, which means for the sake of argument, as opposed to innuendo, which is an Italian suppository. Now, let's assume that Dinesh D'Souza, our good friend, says, guess what? We have new video of people dumping in new ballots at the end in Pennsylvania. Let's assume. Nothing to do with Dominion, not Smartmatic and that. Just regular, just counting, just, actual paper or whatever it is. Okay. What would happen? Gut bucket, let's start with you, the genius. What would happen? New evidence to show that there was, and let's say the videos are authenticated. What would happen? Ingram, what would happen? What would happen? Hannity, what would happen? Anybody else? Oh, Tucker, news, anybody, can anybody tell me what would happen? I'll save you the problem. Nothing. That's the problem. So, Mr. Shill, my point to you, my friend, is whether they steal it or not, the issue is what would happen? The answer is nothing. Nothing. Nothing would happen. Nothing would happen. I can't say it enough. And I can't say it again. Nothing would happen. That's the issue. So let me ask you something. Let's say you're in a town and you come to visit me, and I say, this is the town of Lancettville, Ohio. Lancettville, Ohio. Welcome. I just made that name up. Okay. And I thought, if I told you, listen, you know what's interesting about this? They don't have any traffic people. What? They don't have any traffic cops. None. They don't? Nope. Nothing. They have no traffic? No traffic at all. None. Are you going to speed? There's no traffic cops. There's no radar. There's no nothing. Are you going to speed? Of course you're going to speed. You're not going to be reckless, but you're not going to be worried about speed limit because there's no cops. Bradley Opler says 9 out of 10 doctors recommend 9 out of 10 people polled. These are Bernays' 101 concepts. The real question is, who wrote the questions being asked? Excellent point, but also, who were the people being asked? Lori Cook says, I think we should go after the... Oh, sorry, we saw that one. Mr. Shill said, here we go. Nathan said, I think they'll steal it, but that's not the issue. The issue is what's going to happen. Edie says, seeing Megan the Stallion at Kamala Harris's rally reminded me of a scene out of D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation. Not complimentary of the darker race. I don't know what that means. Well, you know that race is now whatever anybody wants it to be. But let me ask this question. We go back to what Brad brings up a good point. You want to do a poll with me? You want to be a poll with me? You want to do a poll? Come on, let's do a poll. You know where we're going to go? Saturday, Short Hills Mall, New Jersey. Short Hills, New Jersey. Very nice place. Now, see those people over there? We got to get 100 people. Okay? 100 people. See those people standing over there? African-American group. See that? I want you to go up and find out who's 18 and ask them whom do they prefer? Trump or Kamala Harris? Go ask them. Go pick them up. How many in that group? 6? Write down 6. What do they all say? 100% Kamala Harris. Okay. You think a bunch of young black kids are going? No. What about those over there? Pick them out too. Who are the demographic? Young people, white and black, but black, young, whatever. We have our group. We have 100 people, random people, voters. And whether they're, you know what you could say, are you licensed to vote? Technically speaking, in many states, if you have a driver's license, you're motor voter. You're a voter. So I come back and I say, I just got a poll. 96% say they're going to vote for, and that's a true poll. That's a poll I took. I took these people, and 96% of the people that I talked to said they're going to vote for Kamala Harris. Is that a poll? You better believe it's a poll. Absolutely, it's a poll. It was a questions asked. It's not who's asking the question. What was the question? Just yes or no. Favorable or unfavorable? Who are you? Which do you prefer, or do you consider her to be favorable? Kamala Harris. That's 80%. That's exactly how it's done. Exactly. Likely voter means, are you going to vote, or do you presume that if you're 18 years old, you might say, are you licensed to vote? Do you have a vote? Or do you have or not licensed to vote? Are you registered to vote? Yes. Now let's just stop the polls. Just don't worry about this. They don't mean anything. They don't mean anything. You hear what I'm saying? Now, let me ask you a question, and this is the most important. Look at this. Goofy is so phony. Midwest will make her cry. Lori, I think you're onto something. Let me ask you this question, Lori, everybody else. And I'm being serious, and I don't want you to come up with because I know you're going to be cute. I know how you are. I love yous, but I know what you do. You can come up with something cute. What do the Democrats stand for? I know what you're thinking. You're going to say something cute. What do Democrats stand for? What? Let me tell you what's happening right now, the way it works in this country. Democrats and Republicans. Let's talk about Republicans. Republicans absolutely, positively, 100% are unified as to what Republicans are. 100%. They may not be crazy as to agree with everybody. Dan says, if Harris wins, totalitarianism will be implemented, but not by her, but by the people who control her. That's why this one fellow I was watching, he thinks that Kamala Harris is the mannequin. She's the cutout. But let me go back to what I'm saying. If you ask everybody with the CPAC, what do you believe in? Oh, Republicans think. I mean, some may be stronger with others, but there's unanimity. Now, when it comes to, they'll say terrible things. For example, sometimes it's real. The real pain in the ass, a real phony baloney who has just worn out her welcome. Who by the way, I'm sorry, just she does her thing. Is Ann Coulter. And Ann Coulter she's just an opinionator, but she's an example of many people. She, like Karl Rove and others, they don't like Trump. They don't. And she's always the turd in the punch bowl. Never likes what's going on. Doesn't like Trump. The border. She has one thing, because her shtick is, you always want me to come out with a ventriloquist lockjaw. Okay, fine. This Larchmont lockjaw or whatever it is. She's just okay. But they all agree as to the principles of conservatism or whatever it is. They all do. All of them. Every single one of them. Raul Rodriguez says some undecided and independents will vote Trump. Of course. That's the point. That's exactly the point. That's the ones I'm after. Now let's talk about the Democrats. The Democrats never say anything out loud about Kamala. You notice that? Never. You'll hear, and I mean to tell you. You might hear somebody like James Carville. I like to see Carville. Too bad Howell Heflin's dead, but I like to see James Carville and our good friend, the lovely John Kennedy. He may say things like, you better, she's gonna kick your butt. That's not even negative, but they're 100%. They never say. But if you ask, what do Democrats believe in? Anybody? They have no idea. You've got the Nancy Pelosi wing. The Nancy Pelosi wing they're Republican. The Nancy Pelosi wing, they are just They're dinos. Democrats in name only. They're there just for trying to sort of, as long as it lines their pocket. Okay. Do you know they actually talked about violence when they talked about her husband and that dude he had with a hammer? I don't want to get into too much detail, but I think you know what that was all about. But she is Nancy Pelosi's. They don't like Nancy Pelosi. Lori says banality of evil, evil by just going along. Do it. By the way, it's also called non-feasance or misprision, Lori, as opposed to misprision. Misprision, where you allow something, you don't report something that's going on. So let me go through this. You've got the AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley. You got that group. They're quiet. The only one is Rashida Tlaib is we'll let you hold that paddle up. This is war criminal and genocide, but that's it. You're not going to say anything about Kamala. Nothing. Okay. Nothing. You say nothing. We will cut you off at the knees if you say that. Okay, fine. You're going to say nothing. All right, I'm not going to say anything. Good. Not going to say anything. That's exactly what's going on. But there's that group. There's the Bernie Sanders group and the Bernie Bros. You got those folks. You've got in this group, nobody in the Democratic Party is as 100% pro-Israel or Zionist or whatever you want to call it, as they say. What they want is the money. They want AIPAC and they want the support. And they don't want to be primaried. That's it. And if that offends you, I'm sorry to tell you that. Sorry. There is no Democratic support for Israel. Sorry. That's in the Republicans. Republicans, 100%. 100%. Absolutely. Oh, there might be a few outliers here and there. Judge Napolitano, but he's kind of like a libertarian. That's a different story. So you see what I'm saying? Democrats never speak ill of other Democrats in public, but they're all fractionalized. They're all broken up. Republicans always bust Trump's balls constantly, but they all agree. And they will show up and they will vote for Trump. They will hold their nose and vote for Trump, but they may not like him. Democrats are into this stuff. Democrats are children. Remember I still have my hat. I will never wear it. It was a pink, fuzzy little hat referred to as the poussoir hat. It was a feline reference. I don't know if sensibility algorithms would kick me out for saying this, but it was a particular hat that somebody fashioned to apparently reference the pudenda, the vulva, the external, or the introitus, or whatever you want to call it. Remember that one? Remember that hat? Remember those people? What the hell was that all about? Bradley Opland says, my uniformed or uninformed or uniformed observation is that 20% of the black vote is the best we can hope for. This data was polled 8 blocks from the Chicago Hilton. Could very well be. Black folks, I think, would most probably see Kamala as, I mean, I'm just saying, if I had to guess, not exclusively, but I would certainly think that they would connect with, because she's Democratic, she's a woman, and she's black this week. Next week, she'll be Swedish. I have no idea. But remember what we're talking about here. Going back to this is important, because if you plan to be a Republican, which I am not, but you got to understand what your party stands for. Your party stands for certain things. Democrats don't say anything. As I said, they wore that pea hat. Remember that fuzz, which supposedly resembled the pudenda. I don't even know why. I've never seen anything like that before. I don't think you have either. How you put this fuzzy thing with this SpongeBob thing, this hat, and this. Anyway, you had that group, and then you got you know who else is gone? Say goodbye to Greta Thunberg. See ya. She got her money. Thank you. I'm done. We're done with Greta. She aged out. She's through. Hunter Biden. Thank you. Miranda Devine. The laptop from hell. Thank you. Thank you. Go on. All these issues. Nobody cares. Ukraine. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you. That's it. That's it. Nobody's talking about it anymore. Nobody's talking about it anymore. You understand this? Let me see something. There's one I'm going to tell you about. These are a couple ones that were pretty good. How do we say this? There's this one. Let me see if we can do this. There's one I'm going to tell you about. I made some notes. Where did I make this? Where was this? You notice we don't talk about we don't talk about 5G. Remember we talked about 5G? Not anymore. Nope, nobody cares. Anyway, let me show you this. I wrote these notes. Where is this? It was this wonderful little piece. It was so terrific. It was about what we don't talk about anymore. Doggone it. Hang on a minute. I'm going to bring this to your attention. Because here we go. Okay. Yes. Hunter Biden. Gone. Hunter Biden. What happened? Is it Hunter? Where'd Hunter go? I don't know. What about the case with it? I don't know. Yeah, but he was. No, but he. But I don't know. And you talk about the border? No. And you talk about no. Because now we're talking about this. Democrats never talk about it. Is Trump talking about to a point? Ukraine gone. Remember we had all the problem with the speaker. Remember we had Johnson. Who's going to be the speaker? And then they had Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz was yelling at Mike. Whatever. I don't know. Nobody cares about that anymore. All that. You don't understand this. But gone. The Biden crime family. Remember the brothers. Remember Bobulinski. Remember Jim Biden. All those family members who filed LLCs to be paid. Nothing. People talking about the illegal immigration problem all over the world. Nobody's talking about it. No. The economy. Nobody's talking about it. See, many people like you, and I think there's something to be said for that, believe that everything is a distraction. Everything is the rodeo clown world. Everything is the rodeo clown world. That is the story of our world, ladies and gentlemen. Lori Cook says, let's watch them natives float dance again. I don't know what that means, but okay, sounds good to me. Now, a little bit of history. Let me go back. I know you don't want to hear history, but you're going to hear it because you got to understand this. Gut Bucket doesn't know this. They never talk about this. We have, I think I meant to tell you this before. We go in swaths. I mentioned there was a Trader Joe's group. I don't know why. I have people who love Trader Joe's. Why? I don't know. They're not right and they're not wrong. But I want to know why people do that. How do fads and how do things come out of nowhere? How do these people come out of nowhere? That's what I want to know. And that's what fascinates me. Okay. So in the old days, right around the 60s, the Dixiecrats, the ones who brought you the Klan and the Civil War and all that stuff, they said to people like LBJ, what the hell's all this civil rights stuff? What are you talking about? What is this? Yeah, no, it's a thing. No. Whoa, wait, hey, hold it. Is this Martin Luther King? What's going on here? We don't know. We don't like any of this stuff. This was the Democrats. Don't like any of this stuff. So at that particular time, Strom Thurmond was a big leader. I mean, these folks were, they could not believe what was happening. What is this? What? LBJ was a traitor. John Kennedy, what are you doing? What's going on with it? Okay. So what did they do? Southern solution. Nixon came along and others, and they go, hey, come here for a minute. Why don't you become Republicans? We're pretty much in the Republicans. Now hear me out. We're going to be in charge of the Department of Justice. We'll make these civil things go away. Civil rights and all this stuff. We're running the show. Do you understand what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Come over to our side. Come on over. And there was this huge exodus from the Dixiecrats all the way to the Republicans. And they said, hey, you know what? You're right. Nixon wasn't a bad guy, but Nixon said, Domestic policy ain't my concern. I'm not worried about that. He wanted China, Russia. So all that civil rights stuff, it's over. Don't worry about it. Done. And while they were at it, Reagan later on said, hey, see all those Christian guys out there? This was so brilliant. Get a hold of them. Get Jerry Falwell. Get Pat Robertson, James Robeson. Tell them to come over here. It's called the moral majority. Let's get their ass over here to the Republican side. So we got the Dixiecrats and the racists and the Klan members. Now we're going to get the Bible thumpers. Come on over. There's plenty of room in the big tent. And meanwhile, all these other people, not Christians, because, not Democrats. Democrats started, I don't know where they went, but they were kind of going, okay. They were going in a weird direction, but that's all right. Why do you think there's superdelegates? Superdelegates was to counter McGovern. McGovern, they thought was a wide-eyed radical. He was nothing. He was just a regular. Okay, got that. Now we're over here. Good. Now pay attention. Listen to Uncle Lenny. I know what I'm talking about. Now then we have these other things that are interesting. Then you had the gun people. Oh my God, Second Amendment. We never had Second Amendment people during the. I remember those. When we were kids, Republicans were like country club guys. Like your dad's friend who drove a station wagon and went to play golf. They were like, Republicans really weren't. All the excitement, was the left and the Democrats and JFK and RFK and Gene and the war and okay. Well, when the war went away, these folks had nothing to do. So they started to get crazy and they had a lot of time on their hands. But people started moving over. So you've got the Dixiecrats, you got the moral majority, you got the gun people, then you get in the libertarians, come on in. Then the Tea Partiers, come on in. Then the constitutional people, come on in. And the Alex Jones guys, come on in. Then there are these hardcore, you're going to believe, these hardcore lefty, let me tell you something, real honest to God socialists, real socialists, some of them Marxists. Not communism. Communism is an ideal. Americans don't. I'm not talking about the Communist Party, but I mean, there are a lot of people who really are very, very serious. They loved Trump. You know why? Jobs. Trump is a guy who loved jobs. Bring the jobs back here. Quit sending our jobs over there. We got to have people working and the jobs. And the social, from the Jacobins to you name it, they said, hey, I like this. Keep it here. Okay, yeah. And they also said, and we don't mind that business too about watching the borders, right? So we don't lose jobs. Because their whole thing is about class. And Trump, much to the chagrin and the dismay of the Democrats, appealed to everyone. So you got to understand this. Because if you just watch Caitlin Collins, you'll think that there's this overwhelming love affair. No, there's not. Now they're scared out of their minds because they realize that they've got this Kamala, and Kamala is unable to really know what the hell she doesn't know what she's doing. Kamala Harris does not know what she's doing, and they're scared out of their minds, and they're saying, how did we ever get to this point? And another thing they're not asking is, where's Joe Biden? Where is he? Where is the president? We have a president who is AWOL, who has disappeared. Are you following me on this? This is the most incredible time in the world. And this is what Trump is going to bring up and embarrass these people. Do you hear what I'm saying? Embarrass these people. So when you go to your friends and you ask your friends, I've got so many Dems, so many. I love them. I'm saying, what do you believe in? What do you believe in? What do you believe in? Tell me they don't like Trump. I'm going to say this again. I don't think you heard me. I don't think you heard what I said. I don't think people believe what I'm saying, but I'm absolutely correct. They don't like Trump. Trump defined them. Trump made them understand what it is they believe in by virtue of hating him. I love this guy. All my life, I've loved outliers. I always liked listening to the band that nobody wants. Everybody in high school, if our group, if they were drinking and doing drugs, we didn't, because we were different. Always different. Whatever, when the crowd goes this way, we go that way. When they're listening to whatever the hell they're listening to, Foghat, we were into Joe Beam and Oscar Peterson. Zach Peters, if that's his real name, says, you cannot be a Christian and a Democrat today. It simply doesn't jive. Literally, bro. Well, sad to say. Now, what I would do is simply this, and I'm glad you brought it up, Zach. I would make sure that there is an untapped group of people out there who are not just Christians, but there are people who believe in spirituality. There are people who are Jews who have nothing to do with Israel per se. They're not Zionists, but they're just Jewish. There's a group of people who are Black. AME is a whole nother story. Edie says, Kate and Joe sent to the same hinterland. It could. Yes. In fact, I was wondering, Edie, if they Kate Middleton, Joe for a while there. But let me go back to this religion. I'm going to do this again, my friend. I hold two props up. They're not props, they're exhibits. The flag and the Constitution. It is so much a part. If you are an American, you can be absolutely positively an atheist, not just an agnostic, which is such a wimp. An agnostic, what does that mean? You're an atheist. You are without theism. Atheism does not mean you don't believe. You're not an anarchist. A Buddhist is without theism. You don't believe in the notion of a God, but it doesn't mean that you don't believe in morality or right or wrong. Either way, there are people out there who I would talk to, who I would say, you are being mocked. You are being mocked as a rube. Trump should rescue JB. Oh, Joe Biden. I always see, I'm terrible. Whenever you give me like initials, I think of the most obscure and not the obvious. I'm thinking JMB, Justin Brooks, the Scotch. What are you talking about? JB? Joe Biden. Nobody's talking. Nobody's talking about Hunter. But remember, let me go back to what I'm saying again, just to go back to this. Trump's got to bring up Israel. Force your hand. She'll look like a fool. Number two, let me ask you something. Cammy, Shamala Ding Dong. Let me ask you a question. You think there's something wrong with some dude getting into a boxing ring, beating the hell out of a woman, and then getting a medal for it? Yes or no? Well, there's a yes or no. That's a man. Don't give me this I'm a woman business. Stop it. These boxers, my God, you're half a pound over. You're done. I'm sorry. The weight provisions are very specific. You're SOL. Sorry. I'm sorry. Did you use a cream? Yeah. Well, that cream has a particular percentage of cortisol, and you're out of the picture. Sorry. What do you think about that? Sorry. You're done. You're finished. You're through. Sorry. You know she's not going to be able to answer the questions. Answer it. This is the issue. And what I brought up before, the Trader Joe's thing, I don't care whether anybody likes Trader Joe's or you like it. They like it. And the issue is kind of like Trader Joe's. People, all they want to do is talk about men beating up women in boxing. I'm not going to let that go by. I'm going to make that front and center. And Trump has to be very simple. Do you want 4 more years of this stuff? If you do, and it's going to be worse. 4 more years where they're going to pick up where they left off. You want 4 more years? Vote for this guy. You want to completely destroy the differences between genders? Vote for Kamala. If you think men should get into a boxing ring, just say it like this. Beat the hell out of a woman and then get a medal for it? What does that tell you about beating up women? We're actually having, this is the competition. No wonder women are degraded. No wonder the degree of porn is so horrible. By the way, the porn that people are talking about, when I mentioned this to friends, I'm not talking about skin flicks and things like that. 2 people, adults. I'm not talking about that. Do you know that young people, girls, are coming into emergency rooms with concussions? You know, when you have a concussion or you are knocked out doesn't mean you have a head concussion, but because of asphyxiation, hypoxia, anoxia. After a period of time, they found out years ago. I remember we went to a lecture one time, and there was a emergency room physician who said that over a period of time, a lot of women who had been subject to domestic violence were suffering brain damage, and they couldn't understand why. They didn't suffer brain trauma; it was the choking. It was being passed out, being choked out over and over and over and over and over. That's like if you watch all this stuff like rear naked choke. Don't do that. Don't do that. This is ischemia. This is like a mini stroke. When you're passed out, it's oxygen to the brain is cut off. Not a good idea. I don't care if it's for a millisecond. So what happens is there are girls coming in, and they're choked and they're beaten up because some boy sees this and thinks, is this the way? Is this what sex is about? Is that it? Is it violent like that? Is it supposed to be slapping and hitting and punching and choking? Is that it? They don't know any better because we don't talk to kids about this. And when you hear the word pornography, you're thinking of Playboy or something. You say, no. We're not talking. It's a completely different world. It is so demented right now. I would blame everything, Kamala, on everything. So are you for that, Cammie? Yes or no? You like that? Do you think there's a difference between men and women? And don't give me this nonsense about, well, you do. We're not talking about that. Look, I don't give a damn. If you want to wear a dress, I don't care what it is. You don't have to give me an excuse. You wear whatever you want. We're not talking about that. I don't care about that. Nobody cares. America doesn't care about that. Sports is a different story. Do you think a little kid who comes to a teacher and says, who's not even sure what her favorite color is, should be able to say, I think I feel like a boy when you're a girl? And you think it's right for that teacher to say, come here, I got just a person for you. Pick up the phone, call up protective services, whisk them off to some clandestine, some black site hospital where all of a sudden they're getting, medications and puberty blocking and who knows, eventually surgery without the parents noticing that. Cammie, are you against parental primacy, autonomy? Make her accountable. This is your Democratic Party. Forget this. Do you think the open border? Don't give me this nonsense where you don't care. You never one time went. You actually never went. You never said, listen, I got to go to the border. I'm going to go. Okay, here's the border. Remember the movie The Griswolds where they went to Grand Canyon and Chevy Day said, okay, here's a Grand Canyon. Okay, let's go. All she had to do was say, I was there. Christian Janice says, will the two ex-wives be fighting for gold in the women's boxing this time? I'd love to see 2 men in the process of elimination. That's a great question. 2 men eventually end up fighting each other. And I love this meme going around of Mike Tyson putting on, making her name Michelle Tyson or something, putting on some wig and going in and just clobbering somebody. You've got to hold these people accountable. Because the thing I'm saying is that the Democratic Party went, I don't know where it went. It went nuts. And it was because of this paranoia that took over the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party never stood for this stuff. And they don't believe in this. And the ones who really don't believe in this, black folks. So let me tell you something, my dear friend. Don't believe these polls. Don't believe these stories. America is not for Kamala Harris. Believe me when I tell you that. Believe me. Don't give me this thing. Well, it's a woman. Believe me, you're gonna find cat ladies out on the street if you look around long enough for them. Okay? That's all. Anyway, it's a beautiful day here in New York City. It's a nice 82 degrees. Nice. It was rather hot this weekend. It's called the summer. What can I tell you? So Christian Janice, thank you. Lori Cuck, you know where you love her. Edie Crowley, we love you, dear heart. Zach Peters, welcome aboard, Zach. Brad Opland, excellent. Raul Rodriguez. Danny, thank you so much for that. Nathan Shill, everybody. Give him a big round of applause. I hope I'm saying it right. Shill, I hope I'm saying this right. Eric Thaddeus Walters, love you, brother. B. Cool, he's an Aussie. God bless him. Sabres and Toys. And Lori Lewis, a new member. All right, that's it. You have a great day. What are your plans today? What's everybody's plans? Tell me your plans. Enough about me. What's your plans? Tell me. My big day, we're going to go to the store later. I love going to the store. Food stores, not clothing stores, food stores. What's everybody doing? Tell me your plans. And also tell me where you are. It's a little bit of a kind of a roll call. Where is everybody from? That's all. I'm at war. Raul's going to drink beer. Observation. Fix a motorcycle. I like this. I like what people are doing. Mowing. Oh, mowings. I love the smell of it. Gardening. Lori, gardening is one of the most important thing you can imagine. Sarah's husband loves grocery shopping. I love it. I love it. I love it. Stu Leonard's for I like going to Stu, and I get my corn there, and I go to Whole Foods. I'm telling you, the stuff that I like eat, that's where it is. I love this stuff. I'm going to Orchard Beach in the Bronx. There you go. Greetings from the Netherlands. There's Jerome Vlek. Vlek. I call you Jerry. Jerry's from the Netherlands. Fort Oglethorpe. I love this place. Cultivating. Greenville, Illinois. I like these cities. Central Illinois. Don't give me this central. I want a city. Cajun country, Louisiana. New Paltz, New York. Earthing and sun worship. Stay away from the sun. Please. Please. Get a melanoma on you and it's over with. Ybor City. Puppy love. It's my hometown. It's where I was born. Smoking weed and playing video games in my mom's basement. There you go. Baltic, Connecticut. Loading trains in Miami. Oh, I like that. I like the sound of that. Rockaway Beach. This is beautiful. 30 more likes to 600. Is that right? You can do it. Oklahoma City, OK City. There's D. D. Campbell. D, how are you? This is beautiful. I'm sitting around questioning my life decisions. Going bowling. You know, I have not been bowling in the longest time. Tell you a true story about bowling. I had a friend of mine one time who was, for years, he was, it's a very long story. He would actually, I don't know if he had an affair, but he would be serviced by, believe it or not, professional call girls. And it was the weirdest thing. And he said, you know, they don't bother you. I'm saying, whatever. I'm not going to judge. But this was years ago. Well, anyway, to make a long story short, I think Tuesday night was this thing. So what he did was he decided, you know, I gotta have a place. So what he did was he went to a bowling alley and he walked in and he got a blocker, he got a ball, and he got shoes. And he had him send the bill every month. So the wife saw it. ABC bowling alley, you got the bowling. Because I go bowling on Tuesday. Okay. Wife didn't care. I'm on the team. I got my bowling. Okay. Got a locker. It says right there, locker rental. She pays it. Okay. So one day, he'd never been to the bowling because this was just a ruse. It was a cover to, you know, protect or to dissuade his wife from knowing what he was doing. Well, one night they were double dating and it was another couple. And somebody says, hey, Joe, isn't that your bowling alley? He said, what? Oh, yeah, man. He goes, you know, you must be pretty good. He said, well, you've been on this team for how many years? Well, quite a while. Why don't you show us how it's done? Come on, let's go bowling. What? Let's go bowling. Let's go bowling. Sure. So he walks in, doesn't even know where the locker is. He's never been there. I mean, I think he bought a ball, but he's not. Is it this way? Was it? So he's going around. He goes, don't you know where it is? He goes, yeah, of course. I think they moved them. They moved the lockers. So finally he goes to the thing. And luckily he had his key. He takes his ball out. It's perfect. And the shoes were never been worn. So he's like throwing gutter balls and it's horrible. And they're looking at him like, and he said, oh, my back. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, sorry. Oh, but you guys go ahead and play. I always think of that. I love the sound of the bowling. Don't you love when the pins hit? When you walk into a bowling alley, don't you love that sound? Don't you love that sound? Don't you love that bowling sound? Don't you love that? We used to have this one. Oh, there was the bar always had the waitress. In the old days when you could smoke, this was in college. It was a bowling alley where these tough broads were like, what do you have? You know, okay. And we loved it. We'd go to this bar. They said, you guys play? He goes, no, we came here to see you. And we loved this like Maxine, how are you? And the sound of the cracking of the pins and the noise and the cacophony and the teams, and they have their names, with Joe Plumbing and And so I was on this suicide and crisis center. I was in college. I think I told you I was like 19. And somebody said, hey, let's start a bowling team. I said, no. I said, no, I'm not interested. I said, because every time I've been on any kind of team, if it's softball, it's always somebody who takes it far too seriously. And they keep track and then they get into, I just don't, I'm sorry. It's a game. It should be fun. But no, we're not going to, it's bowling. I say, I know that's what you say now, but believe me, I've seen it happen before. You get somebody one of you is a secret bowler, and then you're going to be the coach. Next thing you know, we're not going to be having fun because somebody's going to have an off day. So I said, okay, I'll go. So I went and I said, okay, what are we going to do this? So anyway, I was the treasurer and I did all this stuff and I kept, the candy cap. It was kind of interesting, the math part of it. Sure enough, they turned into this. We were called the lifesavers. I thought of that. And we competed against other teams, and I really got into the ritual. It was Tuesday night, and you saw that, there's Florida Plumbing's down there. They're very good. We'd scout them out. They had their team. Reminded me of the Big Lebowski with Angel, or whatever his name was. They had the team. We had no shirts or anything. But it's a subculture. And then you got pictures of these old black and whites with the guy with a 300. And I love bowling alleys. I love just I'm sorry. I enjoy. I like state fairs. I like not carnival. State fairs are beautiful. Love state fairs. Love bowling. Very American. Flea markets to an extent. Craft shows. I never got into this until I thought I was going to hate myself. I think they are the most interesting thing of anything you've ever, the genius behind this. I love any kind of an assemblage of human beings who get together for a particular reason that I know nothing about. Barbecues, you're right. It's wonderful. I play competitive billiards. It's a great sub. I used to enjoy shooting sports. We'd have competitive bowling pins, and I love that. That was great. And I got a little weird too, because some people, I take guns very, very seriously, and some of them would, Brad Rung says, have you ever I've been to the Bloomsburg Fair in Pennsylvania. I have not, but it sounds great. I used to love in Florida. We had the Florida State Fair. I'm sorry. We had, you're going to love this. Well, maybe you're not going to love it. There was a tall order on my part. We had a thing outside of Tampa. It's called Plant City. Plant City was the strawberry festival every year. Great country music. You can admit, from George Jones to Conway Twitty, everybody played. So I was at WFLA at the time. It's 970. I was doing the radio at the time, and they had this thing called the cow chip throwing. So anyway, a guy from Beaver, Oklahoma came, and they explained cow chip throwing, and they had all these, because it was very, very rural, and they went on. They had cow, and it doesn't smell or anything, but they have these cow things that dry out, and they're in a little trailer thing at the back of a truck, and you would pick your cow patty, and the judge would have a tape measure to measure the diameter, make sure it was okay. So anyway, it was this event. So I went there. And there was a guy from a competitive station. He says, I win every year. I said, well, that's great. Brad says, 9-day state fair, and the oldest in the U.S., 169. Well, I got to do this. I have got to do this. I love that. Thank you. Maybe worth a ride. You know what I mean? So it was a cow chip. So this guy from the other station says, I always win this. I said, well, that's great. hell do I care? I'm doing this because we're promoting the station. I don't give a damn about this. And I'm asking, are you sure these are dried, right? Yeah, okay. There's not some parasite I'm picking up here. Okay. And this guy, I always win. I said, would you lay off? Would you always win? Fine. Jeez. So I noticed they had round, and they had one looked like almost like a disc. It looked almost like a skeet shooter, like the clay pigeon, the clays, sporting clays. So I took this. We were in the little stadium. They had the grease pole, all these cute little things. The ladies selling the strawberry shortcake, very, very, very homespun, very, very corny. So anyway, here's my turn. He goes, I'm from Lionel. And I go like this. So I took this thing. It was like a disc, and I could throw it so I threw it like a frisbee. And I don't know, the wind was right or something. And this guy threw, I don't know, let's say 50 feet, 60 feet. Mine went like 400 feet, 200 feet, whatever the hell it was. I threw it like a frisbee. And it just, and I said, don't tell me you stupid people never thought about throwing it like that. I said, were you like shot putting this thing? What are you talking about? I got the trophy. I won. And this guy was furious from the other station. I said, what's the matter with you? This is a cow chip. So when I went in the air, I said, this guy, I told the whole story. And he said he never lost. Well, you lost this week or this year, buddy. So I'll see you next year. I forgot the whole thing. Sure enough, we went back the next year. And sure enough, there he is. I said, oh, God, I forgot all about it. I got the trophy, but it's, And he said, oh, my God, it did. I said, look, it was a fluke. Okay? This year I'm going to do it. Okay. Well, there is a God. And lo and behold, there was a piece. It was like the perfect cow chip. It was perfect. Saucer-like, perfect. When they had a little wind sock, I'm looking, okay. And I waited. He did his, and 70 feet or whatever, I thought. This next one I broke my old record. I mean, it just hit an air pocket. I think it's still going. The stands, I've never had anybody clap for me at any Olympic event. Oh, excuse me, athletic event or Olympic, ever. I've never competed in any kind of sports, never. So I don't know what that's like. If it's like this, I understand why people get a kick out of it. I was like Usain Bolt. I was Jesse Owens. Yeah. And they brought the trophy even bigger. And I was going, in your face. I mean, I'm just rubbing it in. Third year, I said, I'm tired of this. And I just retired the crown, retired with the title. Cow chip throwing. Brad Opland says, in my youth, I was a greased pig dressing judge. What's a greased pig dressing? That's interesting. Is it a dressing for the greased pig? Or do you... I'm not sure what that means. That's very interesting. Oh, look at this. Lori says, we have a frog jump competition. I bet you do. Well, bless your heart. I want to party with Lori. Want to go to the frog jump competition? I sure do. Sounds like fun. Mm-hmm. Too Legit says, went to TJ once to buy $2 Chuck, never went back. Oh, Trader Joe's, yeah. There is something, by the way, in my favorite name in Florida called Sop Choppy. And Sop Choppy it is known for it's actually Ocalochnee River State Park. It's the grunting. Wait a minute. It's the grunting. It's the worm grunt. I think it's called grunting. Here we go. This is called the Sop Choppy Worm Gruntin Festival. Gruntin. I'm going to give you this is called grunting, not grunting. I know that's what you're thinking. This is far more bucolic. This is called grunting. Let me get rid of too legit. Sorry about that. Don't want to hang you out there for the whole world to read your words. Now, what grunting is they got the 22nd, this was in April. And Sop Choppy, it's very interesting. They've got the wiggle worm, and apparently grunting is the you either use, I think sometimes it use electricity, or you can vibrate, different ways to get the earthworms to come out. And it's brought to you by Discover Sop Choppy. Now, is Sop Choppy not the greatest name ever? It's like Micanopy, Panisovsky, Thanodisasa, Micanopy, Thanodisasa, Kissimmee, Okeechobee, all these great Indian names. Look at this. Darlene says, I love this. How sweet is this? Darlene says, a town in Kentucky has a woolly worm festival. Is that what you call it, Darlene? Is that what the kids call it? A woolly worm? Want to see my woolly worm? It's a great opening line, Darlene. Can I use it? I wouldn't do it. I'm out of commission now, but you all can use it. Want to see my woolly worm? Huh? It's a festival. Burnside Plantation in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, owned by the original Sideburns guy. Wow. That's incredible. You know what? I think we're onto something there. John Scott says, Kamala Harris 2024. All right. Well, listen, if that's your choice, by God, you can do whatever you want. You are absolutely free to do that, my friend. And remember, no matter what you are welcome here at Lionel Nation. You will be treated with respect, even though we question your sanity. So, too legit, thank you. John Scott, everybody. Edie Crowley. I think I went to this before. Brad Alplin. That's okay. Brad Rung. Christian Janis. I think it was Edie Zach Peters who said that. Brad Alplin. Mr. Rodriguez. Dan. Yeah. Lori. Nathan Shill. Brad Alplin. Our good friend Eric. Yes, I did. I'm doing it all over again because it doesn't matter. You were kind enough to pay tribute to yours truly. Wow, cool. The Aussie. You love him. And Saberton Toys. Thank you. All right, dear friends. Have a great and a glorious day. We'll be back this evening at 7. Don't forget to sign up. Make sure you remain subscribed to Lionel Nation, because some people, they're finding out that they're unsubscribed for reasons that nobody can understand. All right, dear friends. See you tonight at 7. Have a great and glorious day. And don't forget these final words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. That.